I'd like to say thank you.
Hmm.
Um, and I'm going to say this without getting emotional about it, but you guys have, I tried to say it in the post in the community, but you guys have absolutely no idea how the work that you're doing has not only impacted my life, but I'm sure it's impacting all your community members' life. I've gone from feeling like a total failure to in a very short amount of time to I cannot wait to see what this is going to become. On the day that I joined, I had zero sales. Zero on January 9th. Yeah. And I did 17,000 in February. In the beginning of March, I had to switch off my marketing
Hmm.
because I couldn't keep up. I was making books 24/7. um, Literally 24/7. My days would start at 6 in the morning. I would go to bed 2, 3 a.m. in the morning to get those orders out. Um,
Yeah.
and when I switched my ad, I didn't want to switch the ads off. Um, but I mean, I was starting to, I had no time for anything else. I had no time for my kids, no time for my wife, no time for living, eating. I was at that time I had a couch in the studio. I slept here in the studio. Um, my wife has a picture of me in my gown, my gown,
Yeah.
uh, and slippers at 12 p.m. in the day making books. And she said at that point it was like, dude, you need to we need to slow this down. You look like a homeless person making books. You look terrible. You haven't shaved. You're standing in your robe. It's midday. The kid's almost coming back from school. But I was just making books, packing orders. It was unreal. It was because during that day I got more orders, right? And
Hmm.
I was in disbelief, and I mean even a month in, right? I was like pinching myself, I'm almost paranoid that this is going to stop.
Hmm.
Um, there's no way that this can continue, and it did. And I'm just one person, right? That you've given hope. You've given hope that it is possible. If you're willing to put in the work, it's possible. So Greystorm Studio, I make artisan handmade notebooks that are 100% handmade. Um, you know, we make it here in the studio, uh, and I use the highest quality paper. So I use 118 GSM paper, which is ideal for fountain pens. So it doesn't, when you write with a fountain pen on the wrong paper, it bleeds. The ink goes everywhere. You get bleed through, so you get ink on the other side of the paper. It's horrible. So it's paper that is ideal for fountain pens. So I speak directly to the fountain pen community. Um, most people with fountain pens write on notepads because you don't get beautifully bound books that are specifically for fountain pens. Um, so not only the paper on the inside is exceptional quality for fountain pens, but I use these beautiful Japanese book cloths, which are expensive, but it is extremely beautiful. And then I have a wide range of shigami paper, which is hand printed Japanese paper, um,
Hmm.
on the outside of the books. I didn't know what challenges I was facing until I started, you know, kind of having the blueprint, and I was getting nowhere. I was frustrated with I knew the product was good because I've sold through third parties before. Uh, I've had great customer reviews. I've had really good feedback from customers at trade shows. So I knew that the product was really well. I was just not selling enough. Um, Number one, I felt that through the third party channels, I didn't really have a grasp on my costs because it felt like I was making sales, but at the end of the day, it was coming into my pocket. I felt was, I didn't have a real handle on it. Um,
Mm.
I did some marketing on Meta, but it was, I was just shooting in the dark, right? I had no, I was just flipping on ads, and not even in the right place, mind you, and just hoping, anything that sticks. So I, to summarize that, well, hardly any sales, um, at the point of giving up. Um, Yeah, and I didn't know where to go from where I was. So my first port of call when I started making it was through Etsy.
Mm.
I don't know if we should name names, but anyway, it was through
That's fun.
Etsy.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it was kind of a launching pad, and then I got some sales through there. I got some great customer feedback through there, and of course, I marketed it to my friends and to my family. So
Mm.
half the sales was definitely friends and family,
Yeah.
just to kind of get some sales and get some reviews. Um, I also um, I also put some of it on Amazon, which was disappointing. You have this idea of Amazon, you put something on Amazon and it's just going to work, right? Amazon is Amazon. They're in our backyard, and I thought, I'm going to put it on there and sales are going to fly. Well, that did not happen.
Mm.
um, either. I attended trade. I went the retail route, so I went to bookshops to sell my books. Um, I had some success, but not repeat customers. My books are at quite a high price point, and if you're putting it against, something that costs $10, $12, and at that stage, I was asking $65 for my books.
Mm.
um, in a retail environment that didn't really work because there was no chance for me to tell the story or to build any rapport or connection. Um, so I tried the retail route.
Mm.
That was not successful either. I felt like crap, to be honest.
Mm.
I Yeah, I wrote a post in the community not too long ago, and I joined in October of last year, and at
Mm.
that point, we couple of things. I kind of felt ashamed for the amount of because I've spent a lot of money on this, right? Quality paper and it doesn't come cheap. So I've spent a lot of money and time and effort on it, and with very little results to show for it. And we decided I would take a break, and we had enough resources to carry us. But I spent a lot of money, and I had I couldn't say I didn't have I had nothing to show for it.
Mm.
Um, I knew I loved what I did. I knew people liked it when they got it. Um, so there was definitely some shame on it from my side. A lot of anxiety because I knew it had to, because at that point, I started doing interviews to go back to a corporate job, and I just, every interview I went through, I just, first of all, I hated it. I
Mm.
knew that I didn't want to go back to it.
Yeah.
Um, but I've got a family. I've got my wife, I've got two young kids. I needed to generate an income, so it was conflicting feelings. I knew I had to go back because Greystorm was not making money. I didn't see that I was going to make money anytime soon, which meant I had to go back into, and it's a terrible time for, I think globally, but in the US specifically, to find a good job. So
Mm.
it was tough. Yeah. So when I signed up, it was really the last. It was the last result. If it was not working, I'm done. I will not be spending any more money on it. I'll go back and find a corporate job.
Mm.
Um, Luckily, it didn't come to that. When I told my wife that I've signed up, she was furious, to say the least. Like I said, I had, oh my God, she was so incredibly mad. Because yeah, it was at the point that you have to go back and work.
Mm.
She hasn't worked in 16 years. I was very successful in what I did corporate, so we haven't enough resources, but I had to get a job. It's as simple as that. I need to provide. So when I told her that on top of everything that I've spent, and she's a CPA, so she knew exactly how much I spent. Um, she was absolutely furious, and she said, she doesn't want to hear about it. So, uh, so no, it was a low point. My wife's totally on board now, by the way. I mean, we didn't get a divorce, and uh, we're still together, and yeah, she's actually helping now. Because we need to, once we launch. Anyway, a lot has happened since then. I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about it, right? It was January 10th. I woke up, made myself a cup of coffee. I didn't even look at my phone. And there was notifications from Shopify and which and do you see that light in the back there and that window
Yeah.
that goes out to my garden? I was standing at that door with my cup of coffee in my hand and I looked up my phone and I think I had 3 orders. I need to go back. But the very next day, it happened while I was sleeping. People bought my books. So January 10th, I knew, okay. uh, I have to start making books. I mean, I at that point, I didn't have, I was selling air, as my wife would say. There was air. I didn't have. Um, so January 10th, I knew, okay, we have something. And I, since January 10th until today, which is May 6th, I have not stopped making books. If you told me in February that I'm gonna be behind on orders, I'm not gonna be able to keep up with the orders. I'm actually going to be able to transfer money into my account versus taking more money out. Uh, I would have laughed at you, or not even laughed. I would have. That was not possible. What happened in the last from January 10th until today, in my mind, was not. It was not possible. Um, going from a state of feeling like an absolute failure. Knowing that this is the last shot I have. This is the last shot that I have to which was in October, where in February I was literally told to switch off the ads because I couldn't keep up with the amount of orders that I was getting. That my wife is now in the studio with me, making books because we know what this can be. We know there's absolutely no doubt in our minds that if we and it's not like I changed the product. It's not that I changed that I had to go and change everything. It was just for once I felt that I had guidance on what to do. I knew that the ownership was 100% on me. Um, but I had a blueprint. I had I had a purpose, coming in the morning. I knew what I had to do the training, execute on whatever it is that needs to get done. Do that, move on to the next thing. Come in the next morning, remind myself what I'm doing. So I finally I had numbers. I can speak numbers, right? I just kind of getting in the mindset for this call. I could go back and I could see, geez, where I started in January and what happened and how the average order value grew. I can tell you exactly when I reviewed all the ads. When I started scaling and I could make incremental changes to the ads and see if it works, and it kept on working. And I know exactly when I increased the price, and I knew exactly what happened. And I've never ever had that before. Yeah. So it's just having this blueprint. and I know you know, yeah.
No, it's great, man.
I'm speechless. I'm absolutely. I mean, we're now a team of three. Um, we are, we did 35,000. I know that we are we're going to double that in the next 2 months. I don't know, Andre, if anybody has doubts, you know, you have to believe in the product. You have to believe that what you're putting out there is worth selling, right? It's something, and I think that is what kept me going. I knew I had a great product. I knew I had a great product, but I didn't know how to get it out there. So if you have a good product that you believe in, that that you're willing to put your name on, but you're doubtful in terms of what to do, you know, you maybe not financial. I mean, I'm a product. I love product. I love product. I love designing. I love putting it together. I'm not a numbers guy. But through, through the tools that I was given, uh, I can now talk numbers. I know exactly how much it costs to make a book, and I know how much profit we make on a book. And I know where, if we include shipping, how is that going to impact the gross profit and the margins. So if there's a great product, but you need the tools of how to get it out into the market and also get the fun, at least get the basics down for in terms of your numbers, like I would pay you guys double if I knew then what I know now. Yeah.
Amazing. Well, you can if you want, Myburgh.
Send me an invoice.
Yeah, that's right.